Okay, today I'm going to go over a 7.3, the Ford Powerstroke diesel with a common fuel leak. Also what I want to cover, because I get a lot of questions, I look down at the different comments, and I appreciate those too. I get people asking me what tools that I use. One of the main ones, they want to know my specialty tools, and they want to know this 1/4" ratchet I keep using. The 1/4" ratchet is the quickest and easiest, so I'll do that. It's a Milwaukee 12 volt, the M12 series. It's pretty cool. You got it, 2 speeds. I don't know how well that picked up, but it's pretty good battery life. A lot of people keep asking me about that one. So Milwaukee 12 volt, 1/4" drive, 3/8 drive. They make all of them. I use them all. Really good. The next one, on as far as my specialty tools, I used to always buy the OTCs. Spend a lot of money. We didn't have a choice. You had to buy them. But I've stumbled across on eBay and actually going online. I found more. I get the specialty tools now made by Stallion Tools, and the distributor I found that deals with me is shopfreedomracing.com. They're pretty good, and they found out that I'm making these videos and I've mentioned them, and now they've got a thing, if you put in their Diesel Tech Ron, you can get a discount on it. So, you know, helps us both here. I mean, I don't get a kickback, but it helps us as far as getting a discount. You need the tools, but it also lets them, finds out if I'm actually doing any good for them. But what I'm going to be using today from them is the disconnect tool for the high pressure oil pump. That's where the most common leaks are on the 7.3 oil leak. I see a lot of guys do the rear main seal, and you've always got to check the valley first. You want to check your high pressure lines. Then in the back of the pump, that also has an O-ring. There's a bolt in the back, which I'll point to in a second. And then there's on the bottom, there's another fitting that you can take off, but that pump has to be moved to get to that seal. We won't be doing that one today. I'm just doing the high pressure lines because that's what's leaking on this one. So again, here's the disconnect tool from shopfreedomracing.com, made by Stallion Tools. And another one that I failed to mention is I use a snap-on semi-deep swivel, and that's to get the fitting off, which I'll show you in a second. And another thing I like to cover, I'm trying to think of everything here because people ask me different questions. I took off the charge air cooler hose and the air filter hose just for the video purpose. They do not have to be removed to do the job. The job's a lot simpler, just leave them on there. And I just mentioned that because I had a guy call me the other day about the injector, telling me he got the valve cover off without removing the alternator. You don't have to. Sometimes I do that stuff for the purpose of the video, just so make it easier to see. So again, on this one, don't remove your air cleaner hose or the charge air cooler hose, as you see on this one. I just did this to make a video better because people ask me too, saying, Ron, I can't see what you're doing. So I'm trying to answer all these different questions as I do these now. So anyhow, I'm going to go on and move up on top of the car and show you actually how to do these lines, how to get them off, and what to do.
Okay, I disconnect. This right here is your engine oil temperature sensor. I disconnect that. Carefully disconnect your ICP, your injection pressure sensor, pull it out. It's also a good time to look. As you can see, this one's leaking through here, so you might want to replace these. So anyhow, if you need these too, just, you can go online, find those on eBay. I disconnect my wastegate solenoid and the water and fuel sensor. Tuck the wires back. And also, you don't need to worry about marking them or figuring out which one. They're color coded, but not only are they color coded, they don't fit on. You can't mix them up. As you can see, if you look at this one, the tabs here, they look very similar, but then down here, that's in a different location. So you can't plug these in the wrong places. They're made to fit specifically, so don't worry about trying to mark those. Now again, using my Stallion tool here, the best angle, I do the back one first. I put it in like this with the long side pointed here. I'll put it behind. Pull out on the line. Now I'll bring it out and show you what I did, because I know it's hard to tell. What's going on here, there's a collar inside here. Well, there's a spring inside the fitting, and there's a collar that slides over it. So what we're doing here with a tool, I'm putting it in between the black and the ridge there, and I'm pushing it down there. I'm working it in there. And then with that, that collar comes down and slides over the spring. And then what I'm doing too, once I have my tool inside there and locked, or it doesn't really lock, it just goes in place and it's held there just because of the thickness of the tool. I'll grab it, I grab it here underneath this and back here so I get a straight pull and I pull it out. So I have that out of the way. Then my next one, I'll come in through here. Put it on there. Sometimes these things can get to be stubborn too. Make sure I have that on all the way. And pull it off. Remove the tool. Bring the line out. Now they're out of the way. And that's where I'm using the snap-on, like I said, the semi-deep. And this is a 3/4, also a 19. You can use either one. Same thing. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be snap-on. Matco makes them. Cornwell, Mac, they all have them. Okay, so now I pull these out. A couple things I want to go over. Down inside here, there's a spring, and there's also a, it's like a washer, a disc that's on it, that's down inside there. If you lose that spring or that disc, you'll have a severe lack of power. So if you get done doing this job and you realize the truck has absolutely no power, you lost the spring or the disc, go back inside there and you'll find it. So now on here, I'm going to disconnect these and put the new O-rings on and show you. Okay, this is the spring and also the disc I was talking about that's inside there. This goes facing down in with the disc into the pump. 99% of the time, this is going to stay in there. You don't need to worry about it. But twice I've had it come out, and the first one I looked for, found the spring and put it in there and learned about the importance of the disc. So I'm relaying that to you now so you don't have to go through the same thing I did. And again, you will know. It's like not even, probably a tenth of the power if this is missing or if the disc is missing. So this has to be in there. Again, disc down, it goes inside the pump. It self-centers inside here as it goes on. This is the fitting that we're resealing. So just look inside there. If you see the spring through the oil, you're good. And most likely you're good anyways, just because this normally stays in there. Now, the O-ring, a few things I want to say. I just take them off here. Ford International makes a replacement O-ring. If you want to get them, they're $20-something. You can use them. Of course, that's what's called for, so maybe I should just say to use them. I myself personally, they're larger, and I've snagged a few going in, so I don't use them. But that's me. Yeah, the guys beside me do it fine all the time, so I admit it's me. The what I like to use is I'll get actually an AC O-ring because they're good. Also, whatever O-ring you do decide to use, remember this could have 3,000 pounds of oil pressure behind it. That's what they get under high pressure. That's what they're trying to achieve, at least, is 3,000 pounds of pressure behind it. So, and also make sure that you use an O-ring that's going to hold up with the pressure and hold up with the oil. Don't be, going down just grabbing a cheap any O-ring and find out that it's swelled up on you and cause you to break down, or the family to break down, which is even worse. If you do it to yourself, that's okay. You do it to a family, that's not good. So anyhow, I'll take my O-ring, I'll put it on, and I'm not rolling it, and I'm not piercing it. So I'll put on my new O-ring, walk it down, and put it on. Again, I didn't pierce it, I didn't roll it, I made sure it's on there good. And the book or the instructions that you get with it, they'll tell you to use a Loctite on here to seal it. That's up to you. I don't. I've never had them come loose. I have been doing this since it came out in '94, so experience tells me it's okay. But yes, it does call for a thread sealer or a Loctite. If you decide to use a Teflon tape
don't be covering your O-ring, or don't let it come out and cover your O-ring, because that is your sealing surface, the O-ring and the machined groove inside the pump. Again, I just put them in there and I snug them up. You're only working with maybe 5 threads at the max, 4 to 5 threads inside aluminum. So don't get in there and wrench this thing down. Otherwise, you have a stripped pump. And I see a couple of 3 of those a year from the either an independent garage that hacked it up or a Fortec. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. I don't know, but I see them hacked up. So don't over tighten them. They do have to be snug. It's not a trailer hitch or anything. Just snug them up good. I don't know the exact torque. Maybe I can look it up, but with the extension and the swivel and everything, calculations, just snug them. That's good. And I'm going to go ahead and install it and then check for leaks.
Okay, I've got the 2 fittings in there. They're all resealed. That's all good. Got them torqued down properly. I'm going to hook the lines back up. Now, just do them in the reverse order. I like to do the back one first. And you want to make sure you push it in straight. Okay, I don't know if that came through, but there's a click. And also, go ahead and tug on it. Make sure that's not going to come back off. Again, because you could have up to 3,000 pounds of pressure on it, and you don't want it to come off on you. The other one, feed it through your fuel lines. So I'm going to go through my fuel return and my fuel supply lines right here. Bring it down and push on it. And tug on it, make sure it's sealed, and that's good. So anyhow, we're good there with those. Now the other one I was talking about is back here. Pretty much the same principle. Just take it off, replace the O-ring, and do it. Now the other one that I did mention, I don't know how well this will show up, but on the bottom of the pump, down here on the bottom, and I'm sure it's not showing up on the camera because it's not showing up the regular light, but there is another seal inside there. To get to that one, if that one is leaking, it's rare, but it will leak, you need to take the pump off. Not only do you need to take the pump off, but you need to put the pump, calling this the back, you need to put the pump on its back, and when you pull that out, there's also going to be a shaft or a rod that goes inside there, and there's a ball bearing behind it. So if you do pull your pump off, and you do reseal the bottom one that's down here, don't lose the check ball that's inside of there. If you just put the pump on its back, and then take it out, put in your new seal around it, same principle, same seal, different O-ring though, but a different size, put it back together, you won't have a problem. If you lose that check ball, you've got a no start. So I'm going to go ahead, put this one back together, start it up and check it for leaks, and also go contact the customer, sell them an ICP sensor for it leaking, and get this one handled.
Okay, as you can see, we've got it all back together, started up, ran it, revved it up a few times, checked it for leaks, no signs of leaks. So I've had, I made a few mistakes here, I'll go ahead and confess that. Some of them I liked so much I made a couple extra times even. But normally what I found, if those lines aren't snapped in, or if you snagged an O-ring or something happened, you know right away. Pretty much you start it up, it's either going to pop that line right off and stall, or the leak comes up. But still, I'm going to go drive this one around, put about 5-10 miles on it, come back and look at it. Also, what I like to do is put the, I'll take these to the car wash area, or car wash if they allow it there. I'm not going to say what's environmental codes in your area. But when it's running, I like to clean it, because this oil that's accumulated in the valley and went back, it's all inside the bell housing, around the flywheel, flex plate, whichever trans you have or whatever's going on with it. I clean it up while it's running, that way I let it slosh and get inside there and clean it all up, and it helps out quite a bit. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and clean this one up, drive around the block and go, but looks like it's done pretty much. Thank you.